Yes, please, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you for this morning's japa program. So before starting, we'll offer a prayer. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Anjana-shalakaya Chakshurun-militam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sudantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnava Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today I'm going to speak on the topic of glorification of Harinam. Glorification of Harinam is something which we have to remind ourselves almost every time. So we belong to Brahma-Madhva-Gaudiya sampradaya. So today I am going to speak about what Lord Brahma says about Harinama, what the Madhva sampradaya, maybe Madhvacharya or his Anuyayis, followers, and also how it is being glorified in our culture, in our tradition, that is Gaudiya Sampradaya. Then we'll also see across different traditions, different Sampradayas, how this Harinam is given importance and treated. Also, we'll take some cases from the revealed scriptures, how in different yugas, different devotees got the benefit of Harinama. So he got the mercy of Harinama. So we start. So after Brahma was bewildered by Krishna, Brahma offers deep prayers in Brahma Vilochana Leela of Srimad Bhagavatam. So while he doesn't always explicitly repeat, chant Harinam, chant the holy name, in direct instructions, but he strongly glorifies hearing and chanting of the glories of Lord Krishna, which includes, of course, other names. And Brahma says one should give up speculative knowledge and live by hearing and thus by chanting the narrations of the Lord from the revealed scriptures and realized devotees. In Brahma Samhita, he says one can see Krishna through the eyes of eyes anointed with bhakti, with the love or bhakti, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochana. And in Gaudiya Siddhanta, the chanting of the holy name is the primary way of developing this bhakti, this prema. In another occasion, in another instance, in Kali Yuga Upanishad of Yajurveda, he says, in a different context, Lord Brahma answering Narada's questions says, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Iti Shodashikam Nama Kalist Kalmasha Darshate. So, so this Hare Krishna maha-mantra, which is of 16 syllable, can counteract the evils of Kali. And there is no better means is seen in the entire Vedas than this. So this is what Brahma tells us. Now we come to Madhva culture, Madhva tradition, where Purandara Dasa and Kannada Dasa are known to be the Vaishnava composers of songs who lived in the 15th and 16th century. They propagated Madhva's Dvaita philosophy through their songs. Purandara Dasa was directly inspired by Vyasa Tirtha, who was a later prominent saint in the lineage of Madhvacharyas. Madhvacharya lived in 1238 and 1317. So one of the songs, of course, is in Kannada. So I'll just read it out and then give the meaning of that. Kali Yugadali Harinama ನೆನೆದರೆ ಕುಲಕೋಟಿಗಳು ಧರಿಸುವುದೌರಂಗ ಸುಲಭ ಮುಕ್ತಿಗೆ ಸುಲಭನೆಂದೆನಿಸುವ ಜಲರುಹನಾಭನ ನೆನೆವನವೇ. Means, in the age of Kali, if you remember or chant the name of Hari, millions of generations or lineages will be redeemed or saved. And for easy salvation, he who is known to be easily accessible, that is Krishna. O mind, remember the lotus-naveled one, that is Krishna or Vishnu. So in this song, the key themes are the accessibility and simple devotion. The composer urges the mind not to worry if he does not know the complex spiritual practices like snana, that is ritual bathing, mauna, vows of silence, dhyana, deep meditation, mantra, tantra, yantra, complex mystical rituals. It doesn't matter if you don't know that. What is required is a simple devotion. The song suggests that just chanting the names of Lord Hari, such as Achyuta, Ananta, Govinda, Mukunda, with true intent is the easy way to reach the divine. So the lineage of Madhva goes like this. After the Vyasa Tirtha, who was during Purandara Dasa, then Lakshmi Tirtha becomes the spiritual master. Then the Madhavendra Puri. And then in our culture, Ishwara Puri, and then Lord Chaitanya appears. So Madhvacharya lived, as I said, up to 1317. So it's about 709 years that he disappeared. And Purandara Dasa was also a 16th century Vaishnava. And therefore, he was a contemporary of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived in 1486 and 1534 when he disappeared. So Madhavendra Puri branched off from pure Madhva Sampradaya to Gaudiya Vaishnavism. He represents a transition point and the one who planted the emotional and theological base, the seed to codify the doctrine of Achintya Veda Veda Tattva. Of course, he did not do it. He represented a transition point. Thereafter, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually was the one. He did not codify himself. He was the one. Traditionally, it is attributed to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This Achintya Veda Veda Tattva. Of course, the primary philosopher was Jiva Goswami, then Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, the perfect. Actually, Harinam was taken more seriously after this sattva was formed, and it was the Gaudiya tradition which gave a format or which gave a method of chanting Harinam. The beads, bead bags, the counter beads, all were provided by our acharyas. So the Gaudiya culture took the Harinam very seriously. So what the Gaudiya culture says about Harinama? So I have taken Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila. We have heard it many times, but it's good to get ourselves reminded from time to time. Kalikale Nama Rupe Krishna Avatara. Nama Haite Haya Sarva Jagat Nistara. Says in this age of Kali, Krishna is incarnated in the form of holy name, the Hare Krishna maha-mantra. And it is only by his holy name can the entire universe be delivered. It is said that there is no difference between Krishna in person and his name, form, pastimes, and qualities. So we can see the name comes first in this order. Then under the Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila, Tara Madhya Sarvasveshta Nama Sankirtana Niraparade Nama Laila Paya Prema Jana. Three of the 9 processes of devotional service, which are Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Adasevanam, Pujan, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, and Atmanivedam. In this 9 process of devotional service, the most important is to always chant the holy name of the Lord. And if one does so, avoiding the 10 offenses, one very easily obtains the most valuable love of Godhead. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his Harinam Chintamani, says, Nama sama vastunaye e bhava samsare, Nama se paramadhana krishnera bandhare. Nothing is like holy name in this world of birth and death. The holy name is the greatest treasure in Lord Krishna's treasure house. And why is it a greatest treasure? Bhaktivinoda Thakur answers, the holy name has descended into this world to benefit one and all. Thus, it is the most merciful form of all Krishna's incarnations. So, Haridas Thakur further says, Jiva Nidhi Chid Dvapara Krishna Nama Ara Arasabha Prapanchika Jagat Samsara. So, in this world of birth and death, only the individual souls and Krishna's holy name are spiritual. Everything else is made of matter. Individual souls and the holy name. These are the only 2 things spiritual. Everything else in this world is made of matter. And E Rupe Nitya Leela Prakashaka Nama Sabha Kirtane Jiva Paya Krishna Dhama. Haridas Thakur further says, by chanting the holy name like Hari, Krishna, and Rama, the spirit souls attain the Lord's abode. Topping up all this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who says, Harinama Chintamani Akila Amrita Khani Krishna Kripa Bhale E Paila Kritartha Se Mahashaya Sada Purnananda Maya Raga Bhave Sri Krishna Bhajila. By the power of Lord Krishna's mercy, one attains the Chintamani jewel of the holy name, a jewel that comes from the ocean of nectar. And a person who finds that jewel becomes saintly. His eyes desire, it says that his every desire is fulfilled. His every desire is fulfilled. And his life is a success. He is always filled with this bliss. And with ecstatic love, he worships Krishna. So the holy name is the primary way, and all others, pious deeds, etc., are the secondary. And what is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many things, different scriptures talked about Srimad Bhagavatam, but one of them is 2.1.11. It says, I will not read the shloka. O King, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and those who are self-satisfied by the dint of transcendental knowledge. So, and Srimad Bhagavatam says at so many places the importance of Harinama. In 12.3.52 says whatever result was obtained by Satya Yuga by meditating on Vishnu, in Treta Yuga by performing sacrifices, and in Dvapara Yuga by serving the Lord's feet, can be obtained in Kali Yuga simply by chanting the Hare Krishna maha-mantra. So we can realize how important the Hare Krishna maha-mantra is. And in Kali Yuga, there is no other way of salvation, no other way of liberation, unlike in other yugas. And that is the only way, only way, only way. So now we'll see briefly how in other sampradayas Harinama is looked at. In Sri Sampradaya, King Kulashekara, in Mukundamala Sutra, composed by him, heavily glorifies the holy name as a supreme means of liberation, devotion, and purification. It's the ultimate remedy for all material suffering. And the Rudra Sampradaya, where Lord Shiva started from Lord Shiva, Vishnu Swami, and Vallabhacharya. Srimad Bhagavatam is also central to them. So in 12.13.23, he quotes Nama Sankirtana Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam. Chanting of the holy name destroys all sins. The emphasis on Krishna Sharanam Mama, of course. And Nama is part of Seva. They think it's a loving service. And Smarana, remembrance. In Kumara Sampradaya, the lineage of four Kumaras and Nimbarkaracharya, the frequently cited verse is Kalau Tadhari Kirtanat. In Kali Yuga, realization comes through chanting Hari's name. An emphasis on Radha Krishna nama-japa. And nama is described as direct means of raga bhakti, devotional service. Conclusion is, all four sampradayas accept that holy name destroys sin. There's one conclusion. Second, it grants liberation. Third, it is essentially powerful in Kali Yuga. There is, of course, a difference in emphasis in different cultures. But in Gaudiya Sampradaya, Nama is the sole and supreme path. Sole and supreme path. There is no other path. In Sri Sampradaya, Nama is part of surrender, prapatti. And Rudra Sampradaya, Nama is part of seva and remembrance. And Kumar Sampradaya, Nama is part of raga bhakti and meditation. Now we'll just briefly see in different yugas who got the mercy of Harinam. We start with Treta Yuga because in Satya Yuga there were all very pure souls. Slowly it got degraded. So in Treta Yuga you can have the example of Valmiki Rishi. He was originally a robber named Ratnakara. He met sage Naradamuni. He was instructed to chant Rama. But due to his impurity, he was not in a position to chant Rama. So since he was killing animals, he knew Mara. So he was asked to chant Mara, 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 Mara. So, which then, when reversed, becomes Ram. As a result, through continuous chanting, he became purified and eventually became the great sage Valmiki, who composed Ramayana. And in Dvapara Yuga, we have the example of Draupadi. While in the assembly of Duryodhana's court, she was being disrobed. And though she was calling Krishna, she was also trying to protect herself, to resist the effort of the Shasana, to disrobe her. And seeing that her husbands and Bhishma and Dronacharya were quiet and not doing anything, ultimately, when she lost all hopes, she raised her hand and cried out to Krishna. And Krishna immediately appeared in the form of endless sari length, and her honor was protected. So this was the example in Dvapara Yuga. This is one of the revealed stories, scriptures. And Ajamila, we do not know which Yuga. Some say he was in Dvapara Yuga. Some say he was in early Kali Yuga. Most probably it was in the Sandhi, Yuga Sandhi, he appeared. And he calls out his son Narayana at the time of his death, without an intention to take the name of holy name. He had no intention to take the holy name of Lord Narayana, but his son's name was Narayana. He called out of love for Narayana, or in a helpless situation, he cried out. So, but he was protected by Vishnu Dutas from taking him away by Yamadutas. So this was how he got his mercy. Then in the pure Gaudiya Sampradaya, in Vaishnava Sampradaya, in Kali Yuga, we have the example of Santa Tukaram. And Santa Tukaram was amongst the, I'll go in little more details because it's a recent example. And then people might ask, you are saying holy name will give salvation. Are there any examples in Kali Yuga? So this is the examples in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, Sant Tukaram. He was one of the most prominent saints from the land of Maharashtra. And he performed his pastimes between 1608 and 1649 AD, and gloriously departed this material world at the age of 41 years. And his departure was glorious because it was witnessed by thousands of his followers, and a Vaikuntha airplane comes and takes him. He hailed from a small village of Dehu near Pune in Maharashtra, and was born into Varkari family, Varkari community, who are devotees of Lord Vitthal or Panduranga. And Srila Prabhupada occasionally referred to this great saint as a follower of Chaitanya, and one who overflooded the whole Western India with the Sankirtan movement. Actually, Tukarama pioneered the Sankirtan movement in Maharashtra, and to the accompaniment of veena and hand cymbals. His dealings with the worshipful Lord Vithala was extremely intimate and loving. Consequently, he was a staunch opponent of Mayavada school. Several parallels may be drawn between his life and the lives of many of our Gaudiya Vaishnavas, notably Haridas Thakur. Being completely immersed in the chanting of holy names, he was the very embodiment of Trinadapi Sunichena, Sarorapi Sahishnuna, Amanina Manadena Kirtanya Sada. He displayed extraordinary humility when confronted with the taunts and insults heaped upon him by the Smarta Brahmanas. And Santa Tukaram was known for his teachings, known as Abhangas, the poetic shlokas, and they would flow from his lips incessantly. In all, he compiled 4,000 Abhangas, and these are still the household verses throughout Maharashtra. It is said that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu initiated Tukaram in his dreams, and thus Tukaram became his disciple. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived in 1486 and 1534. Between 1486 and 1534, and Tukaram was in 1608 and 1649. So he came later, but then he was initiated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his dream. That is what it is said. Now, his Sankirtan party exactly resembles the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sankirtan parties. They chant holy name of the Lord with the Mridanga and Kartals. He also does that. His life and Abhangas prove that he was completely devoted to the Supreme Lord, Hari, and to spread the names as the only means of deliverance of this in the age of Kali. Spiritual practitioners like us should not imitate him, but rather follow his instructions to endeavor sincerely for achieving the love of God. This will make our life perfect. Tukaram's life was not a bed of roses. He had to undergo a lot of tribulations. First of all, his wife Avali was considering Vithala to be her enemy, because Vithala, she thought, did not give her anything, nor to her children, except miseries. So she was not cooperating with Tukaram and was always engaged in domestic quarrels. He was living in such poverty that his wife and children did not have enough food nor even clothes to wear. He was so compassionate that he once gave away the only set of clothes his wife only had. She had kept for drying, and an old woman comes and asks for some clothes, and he just hands them over to her. And his family life was so miserable that after the initiation, he started leaving home early in the morning and spend his day on top of the hill, come back, go to the temple, and again start chanting and dancing with and spend his nights. He would not come home. This continued for about 2 months, but later his wife realized that she is not doing the right thing. So she stopped him while going to the hill and told him that I will follow all your instructions. So she sincerely followed his instructions, did everything that he wanted her to do, until Tukaram gave away her only clothes. And then she again started resisting. So there was also somebody called Rameshwar Bhatta, a caste Brahmana. Out of envy, he throws the entire collection of all Abhangas into the Indriani river. Thereafter, recovers it. Lord recovers it and returns them dry after fast. He fasted for 13 days. He just fasted, saying that I want the Abhangas. So Lord came and recovered it. So the universal principle is the holy name is always absolute and powerful across all yugas, but in Kali Yuga it becomes the primary method, the most accessible path, and what was rare in other yugas becomes common and freely available in Kali Yuga. What should be our consciousness for good chanting? To end shadow chanting or nama-bhasa, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur recommends a simple meditation. He says, Meditate that I am an atomic particle of consciousness and Krishna's eternal servant. Krishna is the infinite conscious entity and my only master. The material world is the prison house meant to reform my absent-mindedness. So with these three meditations, we can also probably, in this life only, go back to Godhead. Thank you very much. I am at the wrong side of my age, but there are so many young people. We can surely go back to Godhead in this life if you chant seriously. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.